Coming up next, an interview with one of the great rock writers of the 80s on the story of crafting one of the great movie soundtrack anthems. It was one of the biggest blockbusters in 1985. It's one of the biggest film franchises ever. This song bashed it out at the number 2 spot for weeks. Did it ever get to number 1? You're going to find out next on Professor of Rock. Hey, music junkies. Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. We invite you to join our community below by subscribing to this channel, hit the bell for daily content celebrating the best of the rock era. Now, today, and sometimes going forward, we're going to go behind the greatest number 2 songs of the rock and roll era, those that came up just a little bit short. Here's one from 1986. Now, it was a decade of excess, it was a decade of wonderment, and the 80s were a decade of blockbusters, both music and movies, and sometimes both combined. Now, in February of 1986, the band Survivor, armed with their new singer, the incredible Jimi Jamison, they spent 2 weeks at the number 2 spot on the Billboard Hot 100 with Burning Heart. It was the theme from Sly Stallone's Rocky IV. Now, the band had burst to the top spot for 6 weeks in 1982 with Eye of the Tiger from the previous Rocky sequel, 3. They tried to do it again, but That's What Friends Are For, by the combination of Dionne Warwick, Stevie Wonder, Elton John, and Gladys Knight, proved to be as brutal as Ivan Drago against Apollo Creed. Here is Jim Peterik, the co-writer of the song, with the story. Well, in 83, Caught in the Game, you released that album. It kind of flatlines a little bit. Bickler loses his voice. This is where you guys rise from the ashes with one of my favorite singers in history, Jimmy.
It's very difficult for a band to survive the changing of a lead singer. It's happened. You know, Van Halen and
Journey
and Van Hagar and Journey. Yeah. But we didn't know. And we started holding auditions and, dead ends. But I got a call from my former manager, Frank Rand. And he said, you know, there's this group called Cobra, and their lead singer, I think they're about to break up, but their singer is really great. Send me the Cobra record. And I didn't really love the Cobra record, but I heard something in this guy's voice that sounded very interesting. We flew him into Chicago. He auditioned the day after Kevin Chalfant. We were just about to give the gig to Kevin Chalfant, who went on to form The Storm and many other great solo career. But when Jimmy came, we used to rehearse in this old carpet warehouse, and the fumes from the carpet would make us all cry. It was awful. And Jimmy comes, you know, he's very polite, very humble. It was almost like an Elvis Presley vibe. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Not that bad, but very polite and very, just great guy. And he steps up to the mic, and Frankie and I just wrote Broken Promises. And, you know, he's singing in my ear the first one, summer and smoke, diamonds and dust, go where you will, do what you must. Goosebumps all over me.
Yeah.
Oh my God, do that on the microphone. So he nailed Broken Promises. And we had this crappy PA. He made the PA sound good. That's how loud his voice was. And I go, wow, can I show you another one? And we had just written The Search Is Over.
Oh.
So I'm playing him The Search Is Over in E flat, and he's singing it back to me. I said, did you hear this song before? He goes, no, man. That's how good his ear was.
Wow. Burning Heart in 85, Stallone calls you up and asks you again. I mean, that's how much Eye of the Tiger meant to him. Of course, Eye of the Tiger is used again in Rocky IV.
It is.
But Burning Heart, you're right. Line by line, it had to be perfect. It was a number 2 on the charts, held off by That's What Friends Are For. And I remember because I listened to Casey Kasem every week, and I was so pissed. I was like, come on. You know, when you're willing it to number 1. Is,
right,
you know, And it didn't happen. But number 2, number 11 on the rock charts, he sent you the script. You took a copy to the pool, and you read through it, and you could tell that this was a different story. This was about 2 superpowers going against each other. Tell us about that.
Well, right. It was that East-West tension. That was some fresh meat for me because I'd never written anything vaguely political at all. But really, it's more than political. Everybody has that struggle. And every line had to be good. You know, 2 worlds collide, rival nations. It's a primitive clash. venting years of frustration.
It's a primitive clash, pitting years of frustration.
Bravely we hope against all hope. There's so much at stake. Seems our freedom's up against the ropes.
There is so much at stake. Seems our freedom's up against the ropes.
It had to be good, but the funny thing is, we didn't have a title, really. We were calling it The Unmistakable Fire. And the original opening line for the chorus was, in the human heart, just about to burst. And Stallone goes, you got to do better. Every line of the song is great. And it comes to that chorus, and it goes, in the human heart. And to be real honest, I don't know if it was Frankie or Robin Lang, the music soup. I got to ask Frankie, or Stallone, who came up, no, it's got to be Burning Heart, the Burning Heart. So I don't really know the answer to, I know that I didn't come up with it.
Yeah, because you were worried there'd be like a heartburn kind of
thing.
thing.
Well, yeah, and there was already that Adrian whatever who had a hit.
Vandenberg,
right. And it was a great song. That sounds like heartburn. In other words, I was thinking way too much. So I was trying to avoid that, but in the end, it was the right title.
And what's crazy about it is you wrote it, 33 years ago? Mm-hmm. We're right in the middle of that right now.
I know, it's so weird.
Inspired by the Cold War.
Yes.
We thought the Cold War was over. Here we are, 33 years later, and we're right there.
I tell you, it's got to be redone and re-released. It has to be.
Well, and you brought a Wurlitzer up in the hotels you were staying in because you were on tour with REO Speedwagon, so you worked it up every day in the other hotel room, and you just come up with snippets of lyrics.
Well, then we came back to Chicago and brought Jimmy in, and the whole band in, and we cut it at a real different studio that we'd ever worked on because the other one wasn't available. And again, it was magic, the way it came together.
And when you showed it to Stallone, he said, I like it, but it's missing something.
Oh, yeah. That one meeting, we were up there in his office. He said, you got the Burning Heart now, but there's still something missing. And I said, okay, how about an explosion in the Burning Heart? And he said, yeah.
You brought in Dave.
Dave Ariano from the Ides of March, ex of the Ides of March. And he had all the cool patches. And he came down to Rumbo in the Burning Heart.
In the burning heart, just about to burst.
And you got it.
And that was it. Stone loved it.
Great music video.
Great.
That live concert with the
That was a great video. Oh my God, very exciting.
That was right in that moment where Rocky IV, Top Gun, all these huge movie soundtracks with huge songs that were putting the movie on the map, and the movie was putting the song on the map. It was vice versa.
Oh, yeah.
Really cool stuff. But HBO used it in that documentary. It was a 2011 NHL Winter Classic.
Oh.
Psych has used it, and then it was using Grand Theft Auto.
I don't even know that.
The other thing I love about that song, how they used it in the movie, was Eye of the Tiger showing at the very beginning when Rocky's kind of resting on his laurels and Clubber Lang's doing his thing and training and hungry and ready to go after Stallone.
In the warrior's code, there's no surrender.
What's cool about how you use Burning Heart is that it was when he was training, it's the opposite. Now Stallone is like, I got to beat this guy.
He's got the eye of the
he killed
tiger.
my friend. I've got to do this. And he's doing all those. He's in Russia where he doesn't have his equipment.
And he's doing these.
And he's doing all that heavy.
Oh my God. The abs works. Oh my God. Crazy.
Carrying that thing.
Yes. All organic.
I remember watching as a kid, and we try to copy those things, me and my brother.
Yeah.
But that's what I loved. The way that you used both of those songs in those movies were perfect.
Yeah.
It was like you guys wrote a great song, and Stallone was able to just put it to the movie. And
the synergy between movie and song in general, that's so powerful. Look at the Top Gun hits and everything. It's
important where you use it in the movie.
It is.
It's really got to strike a chord. I mean, Jimmy is incredible.
Jimmy's vocal, when he did the final vocal, we're all in the control room. It was just an incredible moment. So his vocal just killed it.
Hey, thanks for watching. Leave us a comment about Survivor and this empowering song. I feel like Survivor is one of the great, just underappreciated bands of the time. No doubt you have memories that are tied to this song. Tell us those. We want to hear them. You can also get Survivor's music Rocky merch below. We've got some links in our Amazon. Just click on that. Also, if you like our content, we, again, ask you to join our community, be a part of it, subscribe to this channel. Also, you can become a patron to help us keep the music alive. Until next time, 3 chords and the truth, my friends. See you later.